It is a pleasure to introduce you to Hoda's Career Info. My name is Hoda Kilani, career and academic coach at Right Career Fit. Coaching is all about storytelling, helping you to envision and tell your story your way. I put this series together to share stories of inspiring career people from across the globe. I hope their stories motivate you to envision your career story, discover your pathway to success, or recast your career path. And more importantly, that you love these career stories as much as I do. Our guest today is Emily Carlson.
You're not alone. And if you are experiencing something, it's okay to speak up, and you should speak up. In those times where things feel scariest are those moments where we can really achieve the most. Transformation means being able to take something that once was and evolve it and to make it bloom into something brighter and bigger for the next generation.
Thank you for joining Hoda's Career Info, your career program where guests from across the globe share career tips and personal stories to help you successfully navigate your career. Watch, listen, and learn. Remember to like, subscribe, share, and follow me, Hoda Kilani, on social media for more career info. More importantly, make sure you have that very important career conversation with a career professional. Our guest today, Emily Carlson, is a leading executive and mentor in the healthcare IT consulting industry. Emily's 30-year career in the information technology and project management realms has focused on supporting her passion for the healthcare industry by delivering best-in-class quality projects to aid strategic initiatives and grow revenue for her clients. Emily is also a coach and mentor to organizations, the technology industry, and throughout her community. Her podcast, Powered by Authenticity, which we will be talking about today, advocates to change the trajectory of equity and inclusion for females through insightful, inspiring conversations from women who are forging ahead in careers that do not necessarily have a balanced female representation. Emily travels the country as a conference and event keynote speaker, focusing on topics ranging from her technical expertise to equity and inclusion. Among her many accolades, Emily is most proud of being chosen in 2021 as one of the top women leaders in technology, excellence, and innovation by Consulting Magazine. In 2022, Consulting Magazine awarded her Mentor of the Year, acknowledging the unrelenting work she has done in support of other females. Emily's term today is transformational. Emily explains what she means by this word and shares insights on how to handle feeling alone or unfairly treated in the workplace. Welcome, Emily Carson, and thank you so much for joining me today in Hoda's Career Info. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thanks for having me, Hoda. I appreciate it.
Always a part of this program, Emily, is to ask my guest question that prompted this podcast and YouTube channel, which is ask you to share a personal career term that defines the work that you do. And then you define it from your perspective. So not the definition in a dictionary or Google search, but how Emily understands that work term.
Yeah, thank you. And I think the one word term I'm going to use here is transformational. The work that I do within IT and healthcare IT is really helping to change the way we deliver care. And then I think about the work that I'm doing under gender equity and inclusion within technology, and really trying to transform the way that people look at hiring practices, and just the work that we're doing to drive gender equity and inclusion into technology. So, for me, transformation means being able to take something that once was and evolve it and to make it bloom into something brighter and bigger for the next generation.
Thank you. That's a very good word. Definitely, we're all going through transformation through our
Yeah,
lives, and it's good to be reflecting on it from that perspective.
absolutely.
The next question is to help the audience get to know you a little bit. Would you be able to share a personal story, either your whole journey so far or maybe a tidbit of it that you can perhaps use to send a message to the audience as well?
Yeah, thank you. So it's funny, I started in IT when I was just out of high school. So I did not take the traditional route of going to college. Instead, I had my son. And when I had him, I didn't want to leave him. I wanted to be able to be a mom first and foremost, but also have a career and start to develop, the journey that I wanted to be on. In high school, when I was asked, what do you want to be in life? I said, a CEO. And I got told, oh, we're sorry, girls from Alexander do not become CEOs. And I was like, what? That's not fair. So I knew that I always wanted to have a career and be able to grow professionally, but I also became a mom young. So I found IT just by being able to take my son and his pack and play. He sat beside me as I assembled computers at a bench for a local computer company. I fell in love with applications, and I thought it would be really cool to be a girl who coded. So after actually the day I enrolled him in nursery school, I enrolled myself in college. And today, and that day we just started our journeys together. And it's just kind of a fun way that I like to say we grew up together. He got to go to nursery school and I got to, move forward from a professional, also personal. It was quite personal to want to go to college as well. And out of that, I did get a degree in coding, but I quickly found that I was way too chatty for my coworkers. I was put on a help desk and fell in love with being able to support people. Grew into training, and in training, I found just a passion. So I ended up moving over to the pharmaceutical industry, where I did my first consulting opportunity in 2001 for Pfizer, and just kind of grew and developed, went into CRM training for them, and then eventually found my way to the payer side of healthcare. So worked for many of the Blue Cross and Blue Shields. At that point, I'd worked my way up into project management, and then worked my way into program and portfolio management. And ultimately, over the past few years, have worked my way up into being a chief technology officer and chief information security officer for healthcare consulting firms. So I've worked for many of the healthcare organizations throughout the US, helping to serve in a fractionalized component of that. Helping them develop their IT strategies. And then just about a year ago, I branched out onto my own. In 2022, I became a product of a reduction in force and had been just doing contract to contract, and then found an opportunity to grow my business. And one thing that I always seemed to find, Hoda, was that I was really the only female in the room for a lot of these conversations that I was having. I was growing up and I was, evolving in my role, even at the C-level. I still was the only female in the room. And it really, started to get me thinking about using my voice to be able to drive changes within the tech industry. Right now, only 14% of the C-level executives within the technology industry are women. And that should change. That's not a balanced way to grow an organization, and you can't grow people. The problem is we can't get women in tech, and once we do get them, we lose them because there is not the opportunity for growth. So I'm really trying to not only use my technology background that I have, but use the voice and the platform that I've been able to develop to drive visibility into the equity issues that we have within tech. It's funny, but not funny. Even last week, I was the only female on the phone, and somebody looked at me and said, "You're going to take the notes, right?" And I said, "It's not my meeting. Why would you expect me to take the notes?" It's just kind of this perspective, and we would really just have to change it.
Such important statistics that you shared, and your example is definitely not a good one, not something we would like to see repeated among other women and young females in particular. But you are doing something about it, and that's one of the reasons I reached out to you, which is your podcast, Powered by Authenticity. And congratulations on this podcast. I do
Thank
have a
you.
few questions.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank
Yeah.
you.
I'm going to say what prompted you to start this podcast, although from your previous response, you kind of started responding to it. And a couple more, and I'll let you either take them one question at a time
Yeah.
or take them all together. Who is your primary target audience? And tell us a little bit, of course, about the content of the podcast.
Yeah, thank you. I started this podcast as a passion project. This is really a platform where I wanted to bring visibility into the issues we have with equity in tech. And after the first episode, I was contacted by someone who said, "Why use your voice just for tech? There are gender issues across many career sectors, including law, and just for a fun fact to drive what's really scary is even brewmasters, something, brewing beer was created by a woman, and now less than 2% of the brewmasters in the United States are female. So it's just such a systemic issue that we have with some of these career fields and getting women involved. And I started with just thinking if I could reach one person and make a change in one person's life, that would really be meaningful to me. My target audience obviously is females, but it's also males. We need men to understand when you ask a woman to take notes because she's the only female in the room, that is wrong. That is not the right thing to do. When you ask, start this meeting and not say please or not, bring the level of respect that you have for your male coworkers, they need to understand that that's wrong. So what started as, primary target audience for women to know that they're not by themselves also has grown to hopefully grow allyship of our male counterparts as in the workplace. And it's funny again. I was like just one person, and we're now in 12 countries, so we now have subscribership in 12 countries across the globe. We have upwards of 5,000 downloads, which is amazing across all platforms. When we first started, also, my demographic was really standard, about 45 to 55-year-old females. And now when I look at our audience statistics, we're reaching people in their 20s. And that's a very good thing because they need to know that as they're starting in their tech careers or their career in general, it's not okay to experience those gender biases that you may experience. So really pleased with what started as a kind of a more succinct target audience has actually expanded, and we're reaching 20-year-olds to 60-plus-year-olds. And that to me, when I look at that age group, that is just amazing. And each one of them can be impacted in a different way, but all in the same way that you're not alone. And if you are experiencing something, it's okay to speak up, and you should speak up. And if you continue to be the only female in the room, ask why. Ask and challenge your management. Why are we not having new hires more that are female versus men? So it's been a true joy, and that hour every week that I record my podcast truly is one of those most joyful hours that I have in the week.
I admire your passion for your vision and your confidence in moving this forward. It's a bit scary, I think, for people to talk about things like that. And your podcast help other people say, I want to talk about it as well.
Yeah, and I think it's important for us to hear each other's stories. Again, you may have just become, you may sit there and think, well, that didn't quite feel right. Is that the way that this person should be speaking to me? And if you're questioning it, it's probably not okay. And, the other thing is you now have a group of individuals who have come on the platform who you could actually pick up the phone and call. I think one of the neat things about podcasting, kind of like how you and I got to know each other, is through that networking. And people are so willing to just pick up the phone and have a 5-minute conversation to say, could you talk me through this? Or I'm in this situation. Would you be available to be a mentor for me in this situation and help guide me out of it? So, I think that's a cool thing too, is that people can reach out to those people who have been on my podcast and say, this is a situation that I'm facing. Would you mind talking to me about it? And also that just helps them grow. And what, those of us who are on the receiving end of the phone call, that helps us grow too, because we know that, we're helping to make an impact and a positive one in somebody's life.
Absolutely. And Emily, for everything you're doing, you've received several accolades, and I'm very proud of you. I'll list a couple of them. In 2021, you were rated among the top women leaders in technology. No surprise there, you pushing for that change. Actually, it's Technology Excellence and Innovation by Consulting Magazine. In 2022, Consulting Magazine also awarded you Mentor of the Year. What do these awards mean to you and the work that you are doing right now and hoping to accomplish?
Yeah, it was when I received notification that I was a recipient of these awards, it was truly just it took me by surprise, first of all, because the work that I do just means so much to me. It's time away from family, and especially when I look at it from the technology, excellence and innovation, that one came at a time where I was working for a consulting firm as their CTO, and we had to pivot their largest revenue stream from in person to at the desktop. So we had to go from in person supporting our clinicians to remote supporting our clinicians at a time of a huge tech change. And we didn't know how we were going to do it, but we knew that we had to, because one, our organization relied on us to be able to implement a change of the way that we delivered our services. And it was a moment during that pandemic where we were all tired, but we were all able to think of something out of the box. And that one shouldn't have just come to me. I'm glad that I was the leader of it, and I was I'll say I was the only female on the team. But that came from a lot of late nights and a lot of missed dinners with my family. But we certainly were able to pivot. So that one was just a proud moment for my team. Again, it came to me, but the team and the way that we came together to be able to pivot the way we delivered at the bed care for our clinicians was something amazing. And that just was so many nights, so many weekends, and was just a moment of pride in my life. Something that was so terrible within COVID, to get something out of that was amazing. And as far as mentor of the year, mentoring is something that I love, and I feel we need to break it down into this huge word, into these small moments, because we can mentor somebody in 5 minutes and give them guidance, and that makes a difference in their lives. And so that really was, for me, that all of this caring and this passion that I have on a topic was recognized by others. And it's more about the knowing that I made a difference in those other lives, that means so much from that award. And it keeps us going, right? It helps to say people see the difference that you're making in the world, and it doesn't need to be acknowledged with any type of accolade. It's so nice that it was, but every day, that I get to make a difference in someone's life is just truly a moment that just, reminds me of why I'm out here doing it. So grateful.
And you are so humble. I mean, you said at the beginning, somewhere in your conversation, just the word thank you really means a lot.
Yeah, and gratitude is free. Gratitude is something, and word of thanks goes so far for so many. And it's something that I think we forget to do on a daily basis, not because we mean to, but because we all get busy. And so it's really nice to be able to take that time. I had a moment yesterday where I had to remind myself to be grateful. I woke up, I was just cranky. So I went for a run, reset my mind. I bought a little girl and her mom Starbucks and decided to shift my mind to more of a place of gratitude. And I think when you do that, the days get easier too.
Such an important message, and I do want to thank you for your time. But I do have one more question
Oh,
for
sure.
you. What do you have planned in the next year or so that you feel is going to get you to step out of your comfort zone? And if you would like to share it with us.
Yeah, thank you. I definitely am doing some things that I never thought I would. So I was voted quietest in my high school graduating class, and I now have a global voice, which is amazing. And I'm also working on a book. So working in collaboration with a few other individuals in a collaboration, talking about the evolution of leadership in STEM. And I think that's really important. That'll be an important message to get out there. Again, focusing on women and the importance of driving, more women into STEM. So that's definitely outside of my comfort zone. The other thing is I am looking to pivot my career. I love IT and I love technology, but I want to talk more about it than actually being hands-on. So I hired a coach. I've hired somebody to help me maneuver. I'll be honest, at mid-career like I am, taking a pivot from where I want to go and what my future career looks like is scary. But I think in those times where things feel scariest are those moments where we can really achieve the most. We're probably on the right path. If our stomach starts to hurt when we have to get on a phone and talk to somebody about it, we're probably pathing correctly. So for me, I'm looking at a couple of those different career options, getting more on keynotes. So definitely more of those tough addressing topics and having these conversations about the lack of gender equity in our career sectors. The book is definitely something I never really thought I'd do, but boy, it was really fun to write my part. So those are just a couple of the things that I'm excited about that are coming up in the very near future.
They're definitely major things, and I love the message that you embedded in there about it being a bit difficult, but we're maybe closer than we think.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time, Emily. Is there anything else that you would like to add that perhaps I didn't ask you about?
No, this was a great conversation. Really want to bring to light the fact that there's so much amazing things that are happening in IT and the way of moving forward with AI and just a lot of great things, but they all require a balanced seat at the table. And so I would encourage everyone to use their voices to help drive the trajectory of change that is needed for women in technology and other career sectors.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time and your mission, Emily.
Thank you for having me.
Well, this is it for Hoda's Career Info, the program where career professionals from across the globe join me to empower you to succeed. Our guest today on Hoda's Career Info was Emily Carlson. You can connect with Emily on LinkedIn. Emily reminded us that we should speak up. My question today is, would you speak up? Remember that you can watch Hoda's Career Info on YouTube or listen to the episode on your favorite podcast app. To let me know if you are interested in an opportunity to talk about your work, you can send me a direct message on my website, rightcareerfit.com, where you can also sign up for my newsletter to stay up to date on the latest episodes. Please like, subscribe, share, and follow me, Hoda Kilani, on social media for more career info. I am your host, Hoda. Until next time, remember, your time is very precious. How are you spending it?